There's horror coming to your screens this March. LA homicide cops have a killer on the streets, and he's a Jack the Ripper fan. Spine-chilling horror in Jack's Back with James Spader.
Jack the Ripper was the harbinger, the father of the modern sex crime.
Murder weapon is a knife, 6 to 8 inches long, very sharp, possibly a scalpel or post-mortem knife.
Some theorize that Jack the Ripper was a medical man because of the precision of his cutting and his anatomical knowledge.
My brother was murdered too.
Either he's telling the truth or he killed his own brother.
There's a medical student by the name of John West. He hung himself. He knew we were closing in on him.
We have enough evidence to believe that he's responsible for the Ripper murders.
My brother didn't kill anybody. Have you ever been hypnotized? Tell me what you see.
This isn't Twilight Zone, Sam. This is real life.
Who's the guy in the back?
Jack?
Jack? Jack killed my brother. I'm still having the dreams.
I think you know who the killer is.
Please call us if he contacts you. He's dangerous.
Jack. This woman was murdered 100 years to the day from the original Jack the Ripper murder.
And tonight's the anniversary of the last murder.
There's terrifying horror. As a son follows in his father's footsteps, the experiments continue and the nightmare begins. Eric Stoltz and Daphne Zuniga star in The Fly 2.
Screaming will not help anyone now.
Your father was a brilliant man. Brilliant, but erratic. You could finish your father's work. You're as brilliant as he was, perhaps even more so.
I'm sorry, do you have any organic matter that I could borrow?
I would like us to be friends.
I like that. Martin, if you were undergoing some metabolic change, we would have found it by now.
This is obviously not an infection. Now, I want to know what it is. What's going to happen? Will I lose my arm?
Of course not. This injection will clear it up right away.
The early stages of genetic metamorphosis have been showing up on every test.
Something odd is happening to me, and I don't know what it is.
Bartok knows about it.
Of course I wanted to happen. This was planned from the day you were born.
It's getting worse.
I'm getting better.
Martin got out of his cocoon. He's out there somewhere.
Has anyone seen him?
Yeah, Dr. Janeway. She's dead. He killed her.
I do not, under any circumstances, want Martin injured or killed. He's to be contained, that is all.
Beth, if you stay a while, I'll show you a magic trick you'll never forget.
There's gripping tension as an uninvited guest brings fear to an unsuspecting suburban family. Gary Busey stars in Hyder in the House.
Okay, well, let's talk about the future a little bit, okay? Where are you living now? I've decided I want to live in a house.
Hey, Dr. Gordon, unless we have evidence that he's a danger to himself or to others, we can't hold him.
I know, but this is a guy who was brutalized by his parents for years. Now, okay, we've made some strides. We're talking about a guy who very deliberately set fire to his house and burned his parents to death.
Ready to go to sleep? Okay, you got a kiss for me?
You want to know what the problem is? You want to know what the problem is? I think you're spending too much time on this stupid house.
And not enough time with your family, and I'm sick of it.
I don't want you near me. I don't want to even see you. Get out!
Julia.
Get out! Out!
That's thrilling suspense, eerie tension, and spine-chilling horror. You'll need Nerves of Steel for our movie lineup this March, only on Sky Movies.
Late night on Sky Movies. Movies worth staying up for.
In 1863, as a young Civil War hero heads west to experience the last of a wild and free country, he discovers something unexpected, himself. The film is Dances with Wolves, a sweeping Western adventure directed by and starring Kevin Costner.
Imagine, you guys, this is the lens. This is what the lens will do as it comes through.
Lieutenant John J. Dunbar?
Yes, sir.
Just hear that you've been decorated.
Yes, sir.
And they sent you here to be posted?
Actually, sir, I'm here at my own request. I've always wanted to see the frontier.
You want to see the frontier?
Yes, sir. Before it's gone.
Dances with Wolves tracks Lieutenant Dunbar's journey west, where he discovers a people and a way of life to which he finds himself irresistibly attracted.
I feel drawn to the period. I feel I can't hardly walk by a tin-type photo, you know, or an old black and white this time without really staring at it and wondering about that life and that time.
The film was also the dream of screenwriter and author Michael Blake. It came together through his collaboration and friendship with Costner and producer Jim Wilson.
I told him about this vision that I had, and I told him a few little ideas that I had for the story. And I said to Kevin, I said, wouldn't that make a wonderful screenplay? He said, Michael, don't write a screenplay of that. Write a book.
Blake's vision for the book came to life on the prairies of South Dakota, where an entire culture was recreated, from details of hair and makeup to the Indian buckskins created by technical advisor Kathy Smith and costume designer Elsa Zamparelli.
I made sketches for Kevin so that he could see what I had in mind. And actually, the Sioux are really the designers of the show, I always say, because they are.
The costumes we made are very traditional and made exactly right. The same old beads that were used 100 years ago, the same buckskin.
The rich history of the West inspired production designer Jeff Beecroft to capture the essence of the era.
The look of the picture was very important to Kevin. He wanted to convey a West that was wild and untamed and bigger than life.
This epic quality became a reality as Costner and Wilson assembled the cast and crew on the plains where the buffalo still roam to film the spectacle of a full-scale hunt.
We started with originally actually 3,300 buffalo. Never before have that many buffalo been worked in a given scene. So we had a helicopter, we had 10 pickups, I had 24 Indians riding bareback on horses. When you look at stunts, guys riding in and amongst buffalo, Kevin does it himself.
Well, there was 20 of us riding in the middle of this herd at full speed. And a horse got out of control and slammed into my horse and knocked me down. I just got up and Norman came over and he had my double horse there and I said, get off. And he did, you know, and I said, bridle that sucker up, and he did. He's a good hand and got back into it. And I just kept riding. About 2 minutes later, we got a great shot out of it. Action!
Dances with Wolves takes a daring look at a period of great injustice to tell a sympathetic story of a once proud people and the unique friendship they form with a white man.
The spectrum of human behavior was embodied in these people. They weren't just aboriginal savages creeping around out in the West. These people had relationships. There were bad apples. There were comedians.
You want some?
They were interesting. The kind of people you'd like to know.
I don't want the responsibility of trying to set the record straight or of finally doing the movie. I just have a way of doing things. And so it seems to me that when you make a movie about that deals with Native Americans, you should be using Native Americans.
Doris Ledercharge, a Rosebud Sioux, was translator and a link to tribal ways as she taught the Lakota dialect.
All the main characters, it was Graham and Kevin and myself. We just had language classes, just, you know, trying to teach them their lines. Their parts had to be recorded on tape, and what it was in English and then what it was in Indian.
Graham Greene of the Canadian Iroquois Nation is Kicking Bird, the tribe's holy man and Dunbar's first contact with his new neighbors.
You there!
Even though Kevin had the strong conviction that it was going to be in Lakota, there's a lot there that can be worked and things that can be done without saying anything. When I read the script, I read the English and the action, which sort of convinced me to go, yeah, I can go along with this.
Two warriors meet as Wind in His Hair, played by Rodney A. Grant from Nebraska's Omaha tribe, tests Dunbar's courage.
He's in awe at some of the things that Wind in His Hair does.
because he hasn't witnessed this sort of person before. He learns that one of the misconceptions that the Army has of the Indians that they're all savages, which isn't true. Not every Indian comes at you with a bow and arrow and a tomahawk wanting to scalp.
There's something even intuitive about him. That's what I liked about it. It's not somebody coming in and showing them a way to defeat all their enemies. She's hurt. No, she's hurt. A lot of people would have been killed. Like, I probably would have been killed out there all by myself. Wilderness Air probably would have killed me. Dunbar has an aura about him, and it serves him well. Dunbar never is the chief of these people. He's never the smartest guy. He just becomes one of them and not anything special.
Mary McDonnell stars as Stands with a Fist, a white woman brought up by the Sioux